Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got this Toro Titan 60-inch zero-turn mower. It's presenting with a loss of power. We went to pull it in just for a standard tune-up, and you can tell right off, which I'll show you here in a second, that it's not quite running right. I'm going to show you how to diagnose and repair an issue like this if you have one on your Kawasaki V-twin FR series engine. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as we go along if you enjoy the content. So this kind of gave me flashbacks to a video that I did where I diagnosed one side and I proceeded to show you how to fix the other side. It is long hours right now and it is about the same 4:30 in the morning, but I'm going to try not to do that. Kawasaki FR730V. This engine is a very rock solid engine. We love the design. We don't see very many issues with them whatsoever. As long as you keep oil in them, keep them serviced, good air filter, you're going to be okay. Most people, when they see running and they get loss of power, so say you engage the blades or you're in some thick grass or you go to take off real quick and you hear the engine bog down, most people will point towards like a valve issue or something to that effect, but many times that's not the case. The first thing I like to check is fuel supply and see if the fuel supply is good and that the flow is good. So you could take off the line going to the carburetor here past the fuel pump and see if it squirts out of here. Should get 2 or 3 feet out of it if there's no restriction and it's properly pumping. Check the pickup tube where it comes out of the tank. There's a tube that comes straight up and then it comes at a 90-degree angle and it changes sizes. I see debris packed in there all the time that'll cause this same issue if it's quitting after just a few minutes. And that goes anywhere from 5 to 45 minutes sometimes. Check the fuel lines. They could be cracked or deteriorated where they're collapsing on themselves. Check the filter. This one definitely looks bad. It's got quite a bit of debris in it, but I don't think it's causing it not to get a good fuel supply. Fuel supply looks good. It's nice and clear. There's no moisture in it. After you've confirmed that that's the case with your fuel system, you can next move on to other things. Let me start this and show you exactly how it's running. A lot of smoke there to start off with. Didn't get that the other day when I fired it up, but it had been ran a short time earlier. I opened this door to let some of the smoke out a little bit. The smoke could be caused from quite a few different things. A blown head gasket or running on one cylinder will sometimes cause a lot of smoke like that. I'm not going to worry too much about it right now until we diagnose the rest of the issue, see if it persists. But if people hear popping and cracking coming from this, they instantly think like it's a valve issue. Like there's a stuck valve or a bent push rod. Again, many times it's just an issue with the fuel. Check that fuel supply first, and there's an easy way to check that also if it is a fuel or air mix issue. If you choke your engine just partially and you can play with it and get a good spot where it's running good and has good power, then you're looking at a carburetor or a fuel-related issue as opposed to another issue further down the road. What I like to do now is I like to check spark on both cylinders and make sure both cylinders are actually running. That'll tell you the health of each side. You can do both of those things very easily by just pulling a spark plug wire off and seeing if one side will run without the other. Each side should run independently. I like to just throw another spark plug in, hold it against the side, and you can kind of see the spark also as you're turning it over. Let's see if the left side here works. Doesn't seem like I'm getting anything out of the left side. Hold this on here. If you insulate yourself, you can see it real well. I don't know if you can see that, but I am getting good spark on this side, but that other side's not starting. So to a trained ear, as I was bringing it in, that's the first thing I thought. One cylinder is not firing. I didn't know which. I haven't really Went any further with this. Let's pull this side off. I'm going to test the spark on this side as I start it up. I'm sure it's going to run on this side. I'm just going to hold it against the block again, or hold it against the valve cover, and see what exactly we get as far as spark goes. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I am getting good spark out of this side. So the issue, it could still be the spark plug, because I'm not testing with the same plug that's in there, but chances are it's likely not. If you know one side's running and the other's not, and you don't have another spark plug, you're not sure with testing the spark, switch the plugs. If this side runs then and that side doesn't, you know the issue's a bad spark plug. We work on 3,000 to 4,000 pieces of equipment every year. We get 3 or 4 bad spark plugs. So that's how unlikely it is that it's a bad spark plug, but we'll pull it first. Everyone always thinks it's a spark plug, but again, really, it's never a spark plug. Now that is, it's an RN12YC. It's not what they normally call for in these. So it's going to be a little bit deeper, and that gap's pretty large. It does call for a BPR4ES NGK, which is quite a bit different than what's in there. I'm pretty certain that that's not the problem right now. We're going to switch it out and plug it in and just do our due diligence here. I'll unplug this other side again. Still nothing out of that, even though we know we have good spark. We know we have a good spark plug in it. That side, the cylinder is not running. Okay, this is the left side. I'm going to remember that as we go to take it apart. I'll show you exactly what's going on. We'll pull the valve cover, because if you're getting spark and we know we're getting fuel because the other side is firing, it's going to point towards a valve or a push rod issue, something to do with the valve train. So we'll pull the cover off. I pulled the cover off to give us a good view. This is the opposite side, but we're seeing quite a bit of oil underneath. I don't see any signs in between the grooves of the head gasket, though, that would tell me that this is a blown head gasket. There's no oil in between those grooves, but there is some here at the valve cover gasket. It tells me the valve cover gasket may be leaking. The other side, I do see quite a bit of oil in between the fins, which is going to tell me we likely have a blown head gasket over here too, which would explain all the smoke. Let's pull this valve cover off and see exactly what's going on. It'll be a 10 millimeter for your valve cover bolts. 5 of them. These are all the same size. On initial inspection, I don't see anything going on. I'm going to take the top cover off real quick just so we can get a spin on the engine. We have everything off and out of the way here. Let's spin this engine over. So With the exhaust valve all the way in, the intake valve is completely open like it should be. Now the intake valve all the way closed, exhaust valve is completely open like it should be. Low speed compression release just came back. Yeah, I mean everything there is seeming good. Why aren't we getting any fire on this cylinder? Put the valve cover back on, make sure we didn't miss anything here. Starting to have real bad deja vu. Hook back up my pulse line so we still get fuel. We show absolutely nothing as far as spark goes. There is a kill wire. Let's unhook it. It is mouse chewed a little bit. Unhook the kill wire and see what happens. So that's a spark checker. If you guys haven't seen one of those, they're amazing to have. It'll show you low, okay, or high. As far as spark goes, disconnect the kill wire. Let's see what we have now. Still absolutely nothing. I've got a good spark plug in there, and we were actually showing some spark when we were turning it over. So spark plug's still perfect. No issues there. Let's see again. Guess I should probably hold it with a rag just in case, because I know I was getting some spark out of it. If you've been hit with a coil before, there's not much worse than a coil. Capacitors, I don't like to be hit with them either, but coils will zap you pretty good. Let's see what it says. Not a darn spark out of it at all, even though it was just sparking a short time ago. That ignition coil, since the kill wire, all it does is when your ignition is grounded out, it grounds out the coil. We'll check the gap real quick just to make sure it's not touching, but I highly doubt that's the case. We are at a good spacing. The coil, well, the coil over here is actually gapped pretty far. So on this tab, that coil, I've got 20 thousandths here, and it's probably twice that. I mean, it's probably gapped to 50 thousandths. On the other side, it's probably right at 10 thousandths where it should be. Like I originally thought, said it was gapped good. And this side's probably even just a hair close. Let's re-gap that coil and see what happens. Definitely quite a bit of debris where they mount. Normally I'll tell you that's not going to make one bit of difference. We're going to clean these up. They're in pretty bad shape. So does the coil. The coil looks in pretty bad shape. The laminations are starting to separate and stuff. Not sure this is going to bring it back to life, but figured we'd give it a shot. It's in pretty rough shape. Always want to use some anti-seize on those bolts. This is a new one I got here recently. Seems to be working pretty well. And we're going to gap these to 10 thousandths. I'm going to use just a business card here of ours. It's just a hair over that. It's about 11 thousandths thick. Line that up. Makes a huge mess, so that's what I love about it. Somebody said you go home looking like the Tin Man when you use it. Stuff's a little bit darker than original, but about perfect now as far as spacing goes. See if we get any spark. Not one tiny bit of spark out of it. The ignition coil is bad. So I just happen to have a used ignition coil. I've got it all cleaned up and everything. But it is the same. Laminations aren't separated or anything. It almost looks like this ignition coil over here has been replaced at some point. It's a little bit different. Cut my zip tie here that holds that kill wire on. You know, upon further inspection, as I'm looking here, I thought this was all stock. This looks like somebody's taped that all up. Wonder if that was chewed at one point also, along with the rest of it. Sure looks like that's going to be the case. Honestly, can't believe I missed that to begin with. Yep, they got into it pretty good. Not all the way in, but interesting. See just how sticky that anti-seize is. Pull that one off out of the way. Let's gap this one and see what happens. Some of you seem to like to tighten these down so they stay. Do a little bit different method here. And then pull it over. And just loosen them up and let it suck on in. Tighten it down. Does seem like a good method. Never really used it before. Got some good gapping. All right. Now, definitely grab a rag on this one. see that spark like crazy. We already know the rest of the cylinder and everything is good over there. So let's put this back in and see how it runs. There's a reason that I'm using this as far as a used coil right now, and that's to make sure there's no other issues going on, because if they are, I want to estimate those to the customer. I'm still going to tell him he has a bad ignition coil and it needs replaced. I will give him the option since I've already got a used one on here. I don't sell the used parts, I'll just charge them for labor to do it. Still got this one off. Just set it to the side, but let's see how that side runs. Put our coil back, or our spark plug back on the other side. I'm going to use the new one. The old one was a BPR 4ES. If you're wondering if one ignition coil or the other is bad and you can't come to a conclusive test, obviously we need another zip tie to hold that into place. I might even replace these wires. They're chewed up pretty good. Not actually into the wire though, so it should be fine. I at least want some tape around them. But if you're not getting a conclusive test or don't know if one or the other coil is working, but one cylinder or the other's firing, we've already checked out the valve train and everything. We know this is good. Switch the coils. You can move this one to there and that one to here. If the opposite cylinder then runs, we obviously know the coil is bad. Pretty simple test. See how it runs with both cylinders now. I've waited maybe 15 or 20 minutes. The smoke's still not completely cleared out. It's only 5 something in the morning. I'm going to wait for a little while before I run this and make sure everything clears up. Make sure that head gasket is not blown. I'll run a leak down test on it also, just to make sure this customer is going to be in good shape once he gets it back, since that one was pretty wet on that left side. Obviously, many times this is going to present a lot easier, where you're going to see straight off top that there's no spark. In this case, it showed good spark until we took it all apart, and then guess what? No spark whatsoever. That's why it was sounding like that though, because it was running on one cylinder. When you test each one of those independently, that tells you the entire health of that side cylinder. It tells you that the valves are good, that the compression's good, and that you're getting fuel and spark in order to run that side as you test them independently. I, again, always like to start off with fuel system issues because that is the most common, but you've got to chase it down step by step. Whichever step you want to go to, you check there. We'll also have to obviously get his valve cover gasket done if we're not doing the head gasket also, but not too bad of a fix on this. We've seen a lot of coil issues here lately. Glad it didn't turn out like the last video did, me making huge mistakes, but hey, hopefully this helps somebody out if you're having the same or a similar issue on your Kawasaki V-twin engine. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the content. Thank you for watching.